Hey guys, we were seeing this passage, Aeon passage. Uh, in last video, we have left it until here, I think. Yes, we have left it until here. So we'll start the next passage. Even in the present day, it's often forgotten that the unthinkably vast durations revealed by modern science, described by the term deep time, are distinct from eternities because imagination fails to circumscribe such eons. It's easy to assume they lack circumference entirely. So what they are saying is that in this present day, they always forget the thing that these two are different things. The deep time and the eternities are different things because deep time is something that is extremely long, but it has an beginning and an end. While eternity it's not like that. It is just cycles repeatedly. It doesn't have a beginning or an end. So what they are saying is that in pre imagination fails to circumscribe such eons. As I thought that these eternities was not possible, as I thought that this deep time was not possible. Like they easily assumed that it was eternities. That is what they thought. Because imagination fails to circumscribe such eons, it's easy to assume they lack circumference entirely. So what they thought is, uh, they just assumed that it was eternal. They couldn't quite differentiate between deep time and eternity. Deep time is something, but it is very long, but it has an end, a beginning and end. While eternity, it is just repeatedly happening. So they assume the deep time to be an eternity. That is what they coming to say in this paragraph. If accepting such immense finitude is difficult now, it would have been unthinkable earlier in human history, before radio telescopes and radiocarbon dating. A millennium ago, it would have been evident human lives are not eternal. However, based on available evidence, it would have remained undetermined as to whether beyond this familiar span, things don't just boundlessly cycle and repeat. So, this finitude, just now, they are accepting this finitude with much difficulty. So, come to think of it, that before the radio telescope and radiocarbon dating was found, that the methodologies were implemented, they couldn't even think about these finitudes. They always assumed that an eternity was the thing. A millennium ago, it would have been evident human lives are not eternal. A millennium ago, they would have evidently said that human lives are not eternal. That is, human lives are not eternal means human lives it has a beginning and end. However, based on available evidence, it would have remained undetermined as to whether. So, what they are saying is that based on the available evidence that we are having now, it would have been very difficult to determine whether time just boundlessly cycle and repeat, or it follows in linear order of time. That is, it has an end, beginning, and an end. It was difficult to choose between those between these two things. This mattered because it influenced how people behaved. If events inevitably reset, regardless of what happens in the present, everything accomplished now will eventually wash away. Assuming this, the Roman statesman Cicero concluded there was little point attempting to impart legacies that are durable, much less ones that are indelible. So what this para says is that, so this understanding of this eternity and this linear order of time, it influences how majorly it influences how people behaved. Like if events just reset and happens in a cyclic manner continuously, what they thought was that whatever whatever is happening in the present, everything that is accomplished, every achievement that has been accomplished, will eventually wash away. So assuming this, the Roman statesman Cicero concluded. So keeping this assumption, this Roman statesman Cicero, he said that there was little point attempting to impart legacies. Legacies means something that is very that will last for a long time. So he thought, as this events just keeps on repeating endlessly, he thought it was useless to impart legacies to achieve just something that will last forever. Instead, instead human race could do the things that are beneficial to them for that moment. That is what he told. Before an archaeological record was compiled, cross-reference communicated across the continents, rather than remaining constrained within one. It wasn't possible to falsify hunches that human history has been cycling on Earth forever without definitely beginning or drastically changing. So in this, what they are saying is that they were. It was not possible to uh, disprove the hunches that human history has been cycling on Earth. They were not sure whether human history has been going on and on forever, or it was just following a linear road. That is what they are saying here. Similarly, before the globe had been fully mapped, people could plausibly believe that everything locally chronicled and accomplished had already taken place and would later ceaselessly repeat on other uncontacted landmasses. So what they are saying is that before the globe had been fully mapped, that is before the globe had been fully drawn or mapped, people believed that whatever things or accomplishments that took place had already taken place elsewhere in any other place in the world and would later ceaselessly repeat. And this event would again repeat after some other time, in some other time period, in other places. In Leviathan 1651, this is the book this Thomas Hobbes has written. Thomas Hobbes spoke of the shift from a warring state of nature to that of the social contract. This might now sound like what we understand as a transition from prehistory to history. We envision a time before which no humans anywhere practiced farming or writing, and a time after which some started. But this wasn't what Hobbes had in mind. He clarified that he believed this pre-civilizational state was never generally so over all the world. So in this Thomas Hobbes, he speaks of this shift from a warring state of nature to that of a social contract. So from this, what we humans generally understand is it, and we might understand it as a transition from prehistory to history. That is, prehistory is where no humans anywhere practiced farming or writing, and history is where something started, something like farming or writing has started. But this was not what Hobbes had in mind. He clarified that he believed the pre-civilization state was never generally so over all the world. He believed that this was not the same all around the world. Just in some places it happened. For Hobbes, global history represents a revolving, never a rupture. Regions might shelter between various situations, but from a planet's perspective, these will all have already been manifested elsewhere. Assuming this, humankind's collective future cannot come to look different from its extended past. So, in this, what Hobbes is saying that uh, global history is representing a revolving. Like regions might be handling different situations in different ways, but if we see it from a planet's perspective, these things would have already happened somewhere in the globe. That is what he's saying. So what he's saying from this is that uh, our humankind's future cannot cannot come to look different from its extended past. It is humankind's future. It cannot look completely different from its extended past. Some similarities would be always there from the past. Hobbes' contemporaries from Francis Bacon to Edmond Halley remarked that though new things appeared to be invented, they couldn't disprove a lingering suspicion all these feats hadn't already been innumerably achieved before, forgotten civilizations throughout time immemorial. Eternity resided over the horizon in undiscovered lands. So what Hobbes' contemporaries, so this man from Francis Bacon to Edmund Halley, they said that even though these new things are getting invented nowadays, they couldn't be sure whether these things have happened before. What he's saying that they haven't, like, a suspicion that all these feats had already been achieved before by by some forgotten civilizations. So whatever they're inventing nowadays, they thought that this has already been invented by some forgotten civilizations. That is what they're telling here. In the 18th century, these perspectives began to change, but not without fight. Throughout the 1700s, naturalists began looking to Earth to answer the question of the present location in time. Geology had been consolidating as a science. Ahead of digging into the planet, the first geologists assumed they might find proof of nothing really changing throughout Earth's history. The expected remains of everything currently alive on the surface to be located even in the deepest strata. Some predicted that if we dug to the Earth's core, we would find human remains. So, oh, throughout the 1700s, in the 1700 time period, what these naturalists did is that they began to look to Earth to answer the question of present location in time. That is what in what time period we are in. That is what they were trying to answer the question of the geology had been. So what they thought is that the geologists might find something, some proof of uh, what is proof of if something is really changing throughout the Earth's history. So what they always expected that remains of everything currently alive. So the humans that now we are alive, they expected that the remains of us would be in the surface, that is located in the deepest strata. So that way, if they found humans, then they would be sure that humans live far back in time, far back in past time. So some predicted that if we dug to Earth's core, we will find human remains. So some predicted if we dug to the Earth's core, we will find human remains. So if they found human remains, then they could say that humankind was way humankind was present way back in time. That is what they could say. So when scientists began peeling Earth open, revealing the fossil records testimony, this isn't what they found. Not only did the eldest strata entirely lack organic remains, they also noticed skeletons changed drastically, becoming less familiar the further back in time they looked. No one could find fossilized humans in the oldest strata, which suggested creatures like us were embarrassingly recent additions. So what did the scientists, they start to dig, peeling the earth open, revealing what are the fossil records that is present in the earth. But the humans is not what they found in there. So what they found is that the earlier strata, it entirely lacked of organic remains. And as they dug deeper, they noticed the skeletons changed drastically. That is, uh, human skeletons started to disappear the further back in time they looked. That is, as they dug deeper in the Earth's core, they found even less human skeletons. So from this, what they thought is that as humans were not the recent additions, uh, some other organism was there. So example here they said that there was one false position, but that turned out to be a giant salamander skeleton. So what they found as they dug deeper is they found a giant salamander skeleton, indicating that this species was present before humankind was. Uh, okay, this is the end of the part 3 for the video. So stay tuned for part 4. And if you do like the video, subscribe and share it to your friends. Thank you.